So my buddy here, he's actually going to be doing the work today. We're going to be removing this carburetor on this SpeedX. It's a 23D, and I'm going to kind of practice here on holding the camera real still and stuff and trying my best. And we're using his phone to videotape. He's got the iPhone. What is it? 5C. So it's got the really good camera quality on here. So we're going to use this. It's better than what I use. So those first two bolts up here, what actually he's going to do is he's going to remove this bottom bolt here, which this bolt here is a 7/16. And then he's going to remove these top two, which are also 7/16. And you can remove this bolt here, which is this is actually a 3/8. Usually this will be a 7/16 too, but I put this 3/8 in there because I was missing some bolts when I put this thing back together. This engine is going to get rebuilt and stuff because it's got oil leaking from the governor, and it smokes because it's really worn out. But we're going to be doing it sometime. Right now, let's try to get it running right because we got it running and stuff, and then I got it running pretty good, and now it's just not running great. So I'm going to take a look at the carburetor again and figure out why. I'm probably also, while it's out of gas right now, I'm probably going to... Here, I'm going to steal a light for just a second. I'm going to take apart that fuel bowl, make sure there's no dirt in the bottom there. I'm not going to really wipe it out too much. I like the green color. Actually, I don't think that's going to come clean, but I'm going to blow out that fuel line and make sure there's no dirt inside that fuel line there. So he's removing that right there. So he removed this bottom bolt here. To remove this, whatever you call it, it's for the air intake, and now he's going to remove that, and what we're going to hope is that this carburetor just slides out of here. Real simple task on these old engines, you know. The newer engines, you got to remove about 30,000 pieces of plastic. See if the camera can focus a little. There it goes. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take it apart and clean all these needles. I don't think we'll need to rebuild it. These carbs are real simple, and they don't really have any of those rubber O-rings. They got one fiber gasket in here, and the rest is just all brass parts and stuff. So they just need to get probably cleaned up really well and put back together. And then hopefully we can tune this carb. I know a lot about these, so if I find a part that's bad or something, I can identify right away, and it will make sense why it's not working. Alright, so the bolts are removed, so this carb should actually slide right out of here now. So I'm going to try wiggling that for him. Oh, you know what? I forgot. You got to remove that fuel line too. So there's a fuel line that's over here, and what it is actually a fuel pipe. That comes into there, and then there's a brass fitting on the end. What you need is, I don't recommend you using just a regular wrench unless you have to. Hey, Nick, there is some... you use like the flare-ended wrenches. Here, I'll show you in a minute. But it's a brass piece. Brass is very soft, so what you got to do is you actually got to use a flare-end wrench to avoid stripping that. And just pull that piece off there, and then there's a fitting on the end there that will take off and make sure that's all cleaned out and stuff. But what we're going to do is I'm going to pull off this entire fuel pipe. So after he's working on that carburetor, this whole fuel pipe's going to come off here. I'm going to blow that out with some compressed air, and then I'm going to clean the screen that's inside there that works as a fuel filter, and that bowl there traps any sediment and water or something in there. So yeah. To get the carb off there, there it is, and then he's got it in his hand there. I'll show him that. Can you bring the light over here? This is what it looks like. And there's the little, there's the butterfly for the throttle. That's where the governor hooks up to. This is an updraft carburetor, and I'll explain in a minute. There's something very important on here, and I'm just going to get right to that as soon as we take this over into the shop where the stove's going. It's a little warmer. So we moved from the garage to the actual workshop, and I'm going to go quick turn off the radio. Now, see, my buddy just said here, I'm going to go get the flathead for it, and I said, nope, there's one thing you got to do before it. you always remove this jet down here. There's a whole tube that goes up in here. And if you remove this first here and pull this apart, what's going to wind up happening is you're going to wind up breaking that brass piece that goes up inside there. And actually you can probably see the brass piece from here. Yes, you can. Well, I don't know if you can, but it's right down inside there. There. See that there? Keeps coming out of focus. So it's down in there. Anyways, so right, he's going to remove this whole thing and it's going to slide out of there. So you're going to need a, that's probably 7/16 there. Come on, focus. That's one thing, this thing keeps going out of focus. It's got good quality, but damn.
What's going to happen?
Did you get any fuel out of there?
Oh, yeah.
Now, in here, you're going to need a real good screwdriver there. Make sure you use a really good one. Not that you strip that brass jet and then you got to pull that brass jet out of there. So I'll pull that out there because I have a little more experience on pulling these out, and I don't want you to damage it. So here's that jet, and it sits all the way down in there, and then goes up to here. You see why I told you to take that out? Because this tube goes in here. You would have broke that if it would have tried to take that out. And now he's going to take out those 3 screws that are on the top there. Focus, focus, focus. So this is that needle for the jet in there. Looks pretty clean, looks pretty good. There's a little taper or whatever in there. I don't know if that's supposed to be there or not. Looks like it's factory. And it just comes out like that. Then there's all these little lock washers on there. Split washer. Yeah. Looks pretty clean. There's a few pieces of dirt down there. Could have caused our issues. And then just push out the pin that's in there. Sometimes they're a little stuck and you have to you just take a small punch and or do what he's doing. Grab it with like a needle nose pliers. Alright, just pull it out. And then there's a needle. Sometimes these have rubber tips on them. And then sometimes they have rubber seats in them. This one doesn't have it either, but my needle's not the problem. It's not leaking, so we're good there. Whenever you use carb cleaner, do not get any on the gaskets, and especially like the Tecumseh carburetors and stuff like that. They have a lot of, they have the rubber bowl gaskets. I sprayed one shot on there at one time and it swelled up like twice its size. Don't use this on rubber gaskets. Make sure you disassemble the carb completely.